Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to the Muslim Gamers podcast. This is episode 15 and today's a special one. We've been meaning to have this conversation for a little while now, and after a couple of, well, actually one big gaming news episode, we're finally taking the time to sit down and reflect a bit. Today, me, Faraj, along with my co-hosts Abdul and Nael, are going to share some of our post-Ramadan reflections. I can't believe it's already been almost a month since Ramadan has passed. It's crazy how fast time flies. And we'll be taking some of the personal lessons that we took from the month of Ramadan, the challenges of transitioning back into everyday routines, and how Ramadan impacted not just our spiritual lives, but even our relationship with gaming, entertainment, and media. It's a bit of a different vibe for this episode, more personal, more reflective, but we're excited to share this conversation with y'all. Let's get into it. Assalamu alaikum, Abdul. Assalamu alaikum, Nael.
Walaikum assalam.
How
How are
y'all
you doing?
doing?
Salam, alaikum salam.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
With a little bit of a cough.
A little bit
All
of
right.
yeah, it's the bugs going around, especially
Yeah.
when you have kids. So yeah, let's jump straight into our topic of post Ramadan reflections. Tell me, guys, how was your Ramadan overall? I know it's been like almost 3 weeks, or more than 3 weeks at this point.
It's been, honestly, this Ramadan, kind of rough. Not gonna lie.
Hmm.
It's been. I mean, I had a lot of life changes. We moved to a house. We dealing with
Mashallah.
2 kids that are
Mashallah.
wild, and just So I'm unpacking a house while dealing with kids while working full time, and it was a lot. This Ramadan was definitely a challenge, for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, that can definitely add into the challenge when trying to juggle all that and then trying to maintain a spiritual relationship with it too. Niall, what about yourself?
Alhamdulillah, my family was invited to visit the Holy Lands. We were able
Mashallah.
to perform Umrah our first week of Ramadan, which was very
Mashallah.
different. This is my second time going. So
Remind me
it was,
again, you did Hajj before or was it Umrah
no,
before?
Umrah.
Umrah before, okay.
Yeah. So we weren't expecting to go again so soon, but when the invitation comes to visit, do visit, you
Oh yeah,
kind
you
of
don't turn
take
that
the
down.
opportunity.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we were able to go with my in-laws. Our whole family went. It was a big fat big fat Umrah trip, like my wife was saying. And it was a lot of fun to be with the family, be with everyone, and also very chaotic because so many people are there. But it was a good way to start Ramadan off,
Hmm.
even though kind of the next week after, it was kind of a rough transition to go from traveling to now straight into Ramadan and
Right.
everything. But overall, I think this Ramadan was good for me.
Alhamdulillah.
It gave me a lot of time to self-reflect and reset, especially because I've been out of work for a while, and I was able to just kind of focus on Ramadan and when I want to get out of it.
That's
Did
good.
you
That's
fast
good.
while traveling? Just
Yeah, I was gonna
I
curious.
ask that
I
too.
I seriously considered it, because I making up fast after the fact is
It's
so
so hard.
difficult, and
So
I
hard.
know I know women have to do it every year, so it's privilege of me to be saying that, but it's so hard to make up fast, right? So I really consider, like, I'm just gonna be sleeping on the plane anyway. Maybe I'll just do it, but it was just the timing of it was so tough, of like when to like figure out where we had to like start
Right.
our fast, and
Hmm.
then on top of that, it was gonna add, I don't know, like 8 hours or something to our fast. It was gonna be crazy. I know one of our friends,
But when you got
he
there,
did
did you
do it.
fast though?
Hmm?
When you got to Makkah Medina, did you fasted over there?
We fasted there, yes. Yeah, so we just missed the first day and then the day of our
Gotcha.
traveling back. Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
so we arrived on the first day of Ramadan.
Mashallah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I've speaking of days to make up for Ramadan, I actually have one day to make up.
mm,
So what ended up happening for me was, I came into this Ramadan with a plan of like, all right, I get a certain amount of PTO from work, so
mhm,
I'm gonna cash at least 2 weeks of that in for the second half of Ramadan. That way, I'm not worried about like, oh, I got to keep working all throughout Ramadan. So I have that to look
Especially the
forward
last
to
10
is like time
nights.
off.
Yeah.
And especially for the last 10 nights, I was even planning to do itikaf. For those that don't know, it's like staying overnight at the masjid. Most people, or the sunnah of doing itikaf in Ramadan is to do the full last 10 nights. I asked a couple of shiu for like resources on like what would count for itikaf, and I was studying up on all that and everything. And I decided this year, inshallah, I was only probably going to do like 1 or 2 nights. What ended up happening was right before my PTO started, I got sick.
That
Yeah.
sucks.
So it's probably some bug I caught from my son, at his school or whatever.
There was
Because
something going around
there was
globally,
something going around.
because
People, yeah,
even when we were out in Ramadan, people were getting, in out for Umrah, a lot of people got sick, were getting sick out there. We came back, people were getting the same kind of sick. So we're like, okay, something is going around.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely, yeah. I think we talked about it too, right around
Yeah,
Ramadan
I
time too.
remember. I
Was
think when I called you that day,
Yeah,
you were feeling it.
yeah. No, I was in bed, bro. I
Yeah.
was I was literally like this on phone in bed, answering talking through you most of the time on there. Well, yeah, so that kind of became tough. In fact, there was one day where it was so bad, not related to that sickness, but some related to something I ate, where I just knew, like, going, like, even
Mm.
like it was like a couple of hours before Fajr, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be able to fast today. Like, it was pretty bad. um and yeah, that's one day I'm unfortunately gonna have to make up, but at least my wife has some
Yeah.
company joining her for that. And because I was sick, it was like even my throat was hurting so much to where, like, I wanted to read and recite Quran, and it
Mhm.
hurt to even do that. Like, I'd read one or
Mm.
two pages, and even that was like, I came into it with the plan of like trying to avoid media, avoid TV, maybe like a little bit here and there, but not as much as I was doing before Ramadan.
Yeah.
Not going to the movie theater. My brother-in-law and my brother-in-law who stays with us, we would do like movie nights every weekend or something like that. I just said, let's try not to do that, because that's not the point of Ramadan. But then I ended up getting sick, and it's like there wasn't, like, I couldn't go to the masjid for Tarawih. We were
The
even
movie nights came
hesitant to,
back.
like, what was that?
The movie nights came back.
No, the
Crept
movie
in.
nights didn't come back, but I did start to game a little bit more
Mm.
during that time. I think I'd even figured out a way to, like, optimize the streaming from my PC to my Steam Deck, so that my PC that's downstairs in the living room can be played from my bed while I'm resting in bed from my Steam Deck with very little to no lag or latency. And it could be a violent game too, because if my kids are downstairs, they don't have to see my screen because my screen turns off when I remote in. I figured all that stuff out. But kind of transitioning into, or segueing into, that part of our topic was about media consumption in Ramadan.
Mhm.
I to be completely honest, I myself am not proud of having. I feel like I could have maybe done other alternatives, like maybe watching a few lectures or doing more dhikr, like increasing in my dhikr, or just trying to pray a little bit more. Like, I know my body just wasn't able to handle it that well, but I feel like I could have. Looking back at it now, I could have pushed myself a little bit more, especially because when the month started, like, I felt that spiritual high to get into
Mhm.
Ramadan and not have to worry about entertainment and other distractions.
Do you
um
generally cut back?
no, I don't. That's why I was excited about
Mm.
it this year, where it's like, hey, I can focus on my ibadah. Because every year after Ramadan is over, I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel this way. It's like, oh man, I could have taken more advantage of Ramadan, but I
Yeah.
at least wanted to feel like, okay, at least I did more than the year before. And I
Mhm.
think I did do more than the year before, especially for the first half. But yeah, I just feel like maybe I'm just being hard on myself about, like, having to fall back on entertainment a little bit, especially because I got sick. But I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on, like, how you guys generally approach it for Ramadan. How do you handle your media consumption, movie, TVs, video games?
Yeah. Uh,
Usually I try to cut down a lot.
Like
It's got, I
100%,
mean,
or
yeah, almost 100%, to be honest.
wow,
I didn't
mashallah.
do, well, I say 100%, but Instagram Reels was still a
Yeah.
thing
Okay.
for
Yeah.
me,
Then
for
that's like
sure.
that's. Oh, you know what? I was getting a lot of notifications from you. I'd bring it down to like 90%, bro.
Maybe
Especially
like
food. You kept
80%.
sending me food while we were fasting, bro.
He's still sending me those too, bro.
I
So
don't
I'm
know.
like,
Okay,
I'm not
legit.
opening up those
I don't
messages
know.
until after iftar.
I don't know what happened. As soon as Ramadan started, my algorithm was just like, "All right, you want food? I'm gonna send you food. And so I just started getting a bunch of food reels, and I'm like, this is
We're gonna
horrible.
suffer together.
And I'm like, we're gonna suffer together. So I was like, Nael, Faraj, let's go. Like, if I am my algorithm is making me suffer, you guys are also suffering with me. So reels was probably the only thing that I entertained in Ramadan. Otherwise, gaming was non-existent, and yeah, TVs and shows we also say no to in Ramadan. So
That's good. That's
that's pretty
good.
much it, yeah.
Alhamdulillah. What about you, Nael?
Yeah, in general, I pretty much cut back about 100%,
MashaAllah.
except
That's good.
again, like TikTok
Abdul's Instagram reels.
or reels open up, and
Do food reels count?
Yes,
Do
yes,
they
they do.
count?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. We're talking about
Uh,
distraction and temptation, so yes, they do.
yeah, no, in general, I do cut it out pretty much all the way. Gaming, any media consumption that is not related to like lectures and things like that, and educational stuff. I try to cut it out pretty much all the way. It's a little hard because when I'm working, I'm in marketing and stuff, so sometimes you need to do a little research, look into things.
Right.
So you're like, oh, I
Mhm.
gotta look into this. And when that's your job, it's so easy to like, oh, now I'm watching reels for myself, not for
Mhm.
research. But I feel like over the years I've gotten a little bit better at social media consumption. Um, uh, this year I did cave in a little, and because we had started Severance, so I was like, okay, we have to at least finish Severance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So we watched the last couple episodes that came out during Ramadan. So I did watch that, but in
Okay.
general, yeah, I don't watch anything. I don't really game. And every year something is dropping, something big drops during Ramadan, a music album, or like
What
a
was it this
game
year?
drops. I don't. Oh well, it was Severance. This
Okay.
year I gave in.
Yeah. Well, for
But
me,
most.
it was Reacher. They had dropped the entire
Oh
show during Ramadan.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you wanna catch these things while the hype is hot, but that's part of
Don't
the
give in,
lesson
bro.
of
Don't give in to
Ramadan.
the FOMO. Just
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's part of the. I feel like that's part
yeah.
of the that's part of the fasting itself, right? It's
Mhm.
just controlling our nafs, and these things are entertainment for the most part at the end of the day. So it's important to hold that line.
How did you guys handle, or what did you guys do as alternatives or other ways of spending your time, or as a way of like keeping yourself quote unquote entertained, but at least like keeping your time occupied, but feeling like at least it was a beneficial use of your time in Ramadan?
Well, we don't really watch shows during the daytime because we're doing no screen times with the kiddos.
Right.
So that's pretty easy to do if you're like not watching any shows during the
Mhm.
day. And nighttime is
And
usually
that's in general, like even outside of Ramadan is what you
yeah,
mean.
even outside Ramadan. Like
Right.
if any shows or games that I play or any shows that we watch, it's after the kids go to sleep.
Mhm.
So that was pretty easy to do in Ramadan as well. Like daytime, it's same old, just routine. Nighttime, then it's just like, oh, now it's iftar time. Okay, put the kids to sleep, and then I have to get ready for tarawih. Then go to tarawih, come back, and it's like I gotta go to sleep because
So
I
your
have to
time,
wake up in the
so your
morning.
time's
time
already
just
done,
becomes
yeah.
occupied
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. So it's like you just go. Just tarawih was basically my what replaced it for
Okay.
me. It was pretty easy.
Okay. Cool. Nael?
We generally watch in the evenings as well, so that kind of took away our TV watching time. And then gaming I'll do during the day, but that kind of got replaced with trying to just read more Quran, and um, focusing on some of the personal side projects I've been working on, and putting more time into that to build myself up.
Mashallah, yeah. That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I tried to I know at least one thing I could say I'm proud of this year for myself is I definitely read more Quran this year than I did last year. Even though it's not as much as I would have liked to, but I'm still counting it as a win for myself. Uh, eh, and yeah, it's just in Ramadan, it just felt a lot easier to do and easier to get into reading Quran. But one recommendation we got from a couple of friends was this new series put out by Omar Suleiman and Yaqeen Institute about basically the life in the barzakh and kind of
Mm.
relating it to what's
Yeah, I
happening
heard
in
a lot about that.
Palestine.
I didn't listen to it, but
Yeah,
people were raving about it this Ramadan.
yeah. My wife was listening to it on her way to and back from work in podcast form. I feel like the video imagery is pretty strong in it as well because I tried to watch the YouTube version. So we tried
Yeah,
to
they
watch a
really up
couple.
their production.
Oh yeah, this year, especially
Yaqeen,
compared to
yeah.
last year. Yeah, I have my own feelings about using AI in video production like that, but that's a whole
Yeah, that's
other
a different
episode.
topic.
But I mean, mashallah was still like
Mm.
especially when tying it to what's happening in Palestine, in Gaza, uh, when you they show the images of what's happening to the people there and how much they have to endure, it just kind of reminds you more and more about what our
Mhm.
purpose in this life is, and to like think of them and to make dua for them as well. That as well was something I wish we had done a little bit more of. And a lot of it we just kind of got like the big wrench that got thrown into the works for us was me getting sick. Like it was
Mhm.
a pretty bad flu. But alhamdulillah, at least it was in time for my PTO from work, so I didn't have to worry about taking more time off or like sick time from work or trying to work while I'm sick. But yeah, alhamdulillah, was we did have at least a few ways of keeping ourselves occupied there. Now, Abdul, with this is just more so for like people with kids because I'm curious, how did you keep the kids busy during the day with Ramadan? Was it just like kind of more of the same as like outside Ramadan since you guys don't really do screen time, or did you guys try to incorporate anything new for Ramadan?
Um, so we try to hype them. Well, first we like hype them up, like, oh, Ramadan's coming, like, gonna decorate the house, like it's gonna be good, and then can understand, like, oh, I'm fasting, and we're not, I'm not eating, but you're gonna eat. But for the rest of the day, I mean, the only thing we incorporated was like, okay, making sure we read Quran with them
Mhm.
on a daily. At least, and that was my wife did a really good job at that.
MashaAllah,
Other
that's
than
good.
that, it was yeah, it's pretty much all the same. Since yeah,
Okay.
they don't do screen time at all, so it's just entertaining them until
I
they
don't
go
know
to
how you
sleep.
do it, bro, with the no screen time. MashaAllah, power to you.
That's where the gray hairs are coming from, man.
Oh man,
it's
yeah, I'm
a
starting to get
it's a
some of
rough
those.
life,
Yeah, yeah, we
but
did a little bit of
inshallah, it
screen
pays
time.
off.
Yeah, we did a little bit of screen time with the kids. We tried to have them watch the Omar Suleiman series with us
Oh,
too. Go
sorry,
ahead.
one thing that we did do, I forgot about in this Ramadan. So there's, I don't know if you guys know about this. Noor Kids
Mhm.
is like a Muslim comic book series.
Mm,
It's super good. I highly recommend it for anybody that has young kids. You can subscribe to it's like Muslim, like they're not superheroes, but it's like really good stories of like fictional characters. And it's a series, and each book is it's self-contained, so you can read every book on its own, and each
okay.
story is like of a different lesson they're trying to drive, like, and
Ooh.
there's a lot of good Islamic values in there, like it's amazing series. So I highly recommend it. For actually, Adam would be pretty good for that.
Oh yeah, it's great age for him. He's starting to get more into like graphic novels and comic books, so it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I highly recommend it. So in Ramadan, what Noor Kids did is they had a program where every single day, I want to say, yeah, they had a like 1 hour like special like on YouTube that you
Mm.
could watch, or Zoom, whatever, you could interact with them. And it was a show that the creators put on, and it was amazing. It was really well done. It was super funny, educational, and like catered to little kids.
So you
And
you
the kids
allowed that
loved
as
it.
in time for the kids?
I did, yeah, we
Okay,
allowed that for screen
okay,
for
just
the
making sure.
kids. Yeah, yeah. And the kids watched and they had a good time. And the main producer, main host. His name is Brother Amin.
Hmm.
Super. This guy's hilarious. It's like his jokes are top notch. He did a really good job at it, and I highly recommend it to anybody.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have the tab open. Definitely gonna look into that more, especially trying to incorporate more
Yeah, I
Islamic
have.
dawah in kids' lives. Is
I'll give you a couple of the books. I have a bunch of them.
okay. So they actually send physical books.
They can send you physical books. Yes.
Okay, and there's also like an online portion to it as well of like content that they could access, or
Yeah.
was that
I
just for?
They have online resources as well. Yeah, but
Okay,
most of it's like physical books.
was the
Do I
Ramadan
have
one?
one
Did you have to
handy?
like sign up for it, or?
Yeah, you had to sign up.
Okay,
So
cool.
if you're like part of the subscription, or like you want want to like, and you're in the newsletter or something, they'll send you like, hey, we're doing this thing for Ramadan, like join our thing. It's
Okay.
free, like you didn't have to pay for it or anything. We just had to sign up.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, it's honestly not even that bad. The annual plan is $90 and they send you a one book a month. So usually,
Yeah,
books are like what,
That's a
15,
pretty
20
good
bucks.
it's
breakdown.
really good. Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're not super like thick books. They're like thinner comics as well.
Okay.
And the YouTube series, the Ramadan series is on YouTube. You can go search Newer Kids, and you can go watch it right now if you wanted to.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I'm definitely gonna look into that more. I think that's a great way to keep the kids engaged, especially in Ramadan, not just occupied but engaged. One thing we did with our kids was
what's
so
sorry to cut you
sorry,
off. The
go-
one of the super cute things that my son did, he learned about Laylatul Qadr in one of the things.
mashallah.
So what he would say was like, "Baba," um, he's saying in Urdu. He's like, "When the stars come out and the sun goes down and the moon goes fire, Laylatul Qadr happens."
Wow,
It's the
that's cute,
cutest thing
mashallah.
ever.
That is cute,
It's so
mashallah.
cute. Yeah.
Mashallah. That's cool. Yeah, my so my oldest son Adam, he's about he just turned 7 this past weekend. And he was
Mashallah.
asking about like, "Oh, dad, can I start fasting?" and stuff. And I was like, "Yeah, maybe over the weekend, not when he's going to school." And thankfully, alhamdulillah, our school does recognize Ramadan, and like they even tell us like, "Oh, Ramadan Mubarak." I think they even had like special like banners and stuff up for Ramadan too. It's a public elementary school. So to see that being recognized is definitely a huge deal. So maybe inshallah next year, seeing this newer kids and other ideas, I definitely have a lot more
Yeah.
plans
Yeah.
for the
Inshallah.
kids. One of the things we did with both the kids was so Target apparently has these like Ramadan and Eid specific crafts that you can buy, and
Like
like
little
just
kits. Yeah.
like little crafting kits that you can just
Yeah.
put together. Yeah, the kids had a blast doing that with us, just putting it all together and us like setting it up here and there. We did it more towards like as we were approaching Eid as like part of Eid decorations. We wanted to do more Ramadan decorations, but it was just
Yeah.
yeah, it's it was kind of a rough Ramadan this year. But alhamdulillah, I'm glad we were able to get past it. One last thing I want to ask before we jump into the rest of the show is now that we've been through that time in Ramadan with some media or very limited media consumption, rather I should say. How do you guys feel about our hobbies in general? There's movies, TV, video games, especially talking about it on the Muslim Gamers podcast. How do you guys feel about that hobby in general right now?
What do you mean? Like is it? Yeah.
like
What
like
As a
in
do you mean?
relation to like,
portion of
okay, I
our
was able to
day.
limit it for myself in
Mm.
Ramadan. Do I want to keep continuing it? How do I feel about the time that I spend there? And there's no judgment here from me, at least.
I
I
see.
don't
I
know how the
see.
audience is going to feel, but
Um.
So
Yeah.
for me, I always I know oftentimes when I dive into a hobby, I can get very consumed by it.
Mhm.
Addictive personality or whatever they call it. So especially even with gaming, right? There'll be times when I start a game and I get way too into it, and I'm spending like 6 7 hours a day playing, and I'm like, okay, I need
Mhm.
to cut back. So one Ramadan helps me recognize that when it comes around, like, okay, it's a hobby. I need to control that a little bit. So that kind of helps me go into the rest of the year, kind of maintaining that relationship and trying to be more healthy with media consumption as a hobby. Um, while there's nothing inherently wrong with consuming entertainment, it does, as Muslims, it becomes a hindrance into our lives if we let it, right, take
Oh yeah,
over.
definitely.
So
Mhm.
maintaining that line of a hobby for me is important. Not to say that some people who it's their primary hobby or
Mhm.
a source of income, even that what they're doing is wrong. But for me personally, this is how I try to conduct my life, especially because I am a busy person into many other things.
Right.
So if I let one hobby kind of take over, one facet of my life take over, then it's at the detriment of other sides of my life.
I can totally understand that. Yeah, definitely empathize with that. Abdul,
Yeah,
you were
for
about to say?
me, yeah, I was gonna say I don't think I game enough or do any of my hobbies enough for me to really worry about it being too consuming to my life.
Okay.
Like it's usually literally we have like a 2 hour window from when the kids go to sleep and we have to go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and within that time we have to do all our chores as
Mm-hmm.
well as any hobbies that we want to do. So
Right.
there's not a lot
Yeah.
of time.
There's no danger.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
not in danger of that, so you're good.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah,
It's a good
alhamdulillah.
problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, I think that is definitely a good problem to have. Funnily enough, for me, it my reflection at least didn't have as much to do with the time as much as the money, because especially every Jummah, or I didn't go to Tarawih as much this year as I would have liked, because of me getting sick. But usually Ramadan time is, for those of us that have worked for Islamic organizations, nonprofit organizations, know that Ramadan time is fundraising time, and that's when we start seeing all these appeals for a lot of great causes, mashallah, especially a lot of causes that are trying to get boots on the ground in Gaza, to try to help the people, provide relief for them in many different ways, whether it's medical, providing them food. Um, so we kept seeing a lot of that. It's like, oh, we're trying to send more resources out there. We need your help. Or we're trying to build a masjid out here in our neighborhood. We're trying to improve our masjid in the neighborhood. We need your help. And, started to think, hey, and all of my good deeds are going to get multiplied. Let me try to donate, you know, uh, at least as much as I can. And I'm just trying to think of the money that at the end of the day, it's Allah has provided me with that rizq to give that money as a donation. Um, and I felt better about doing that, obviously, than to purchase games. And that realization actually didn't hit me until after Ramadan, when the Nintendo Switch 2 direct happened, and they went into everything, and the pricing of everything was revealed, where the console itself was going to be more expensive than we thought. The games are going to be, way more expensive than we thought, and it just made me think, like, do I really want to be spending that much money on a hobby that, at the end of the day, like, it is definitely something I enjoy, but I've already spent so much money into this hobby. Do I really need to be spending more? And kind of relating to our pile of shame episode, I came to the realization, like, it struck me even harder, that if I just stick with the games that I own right now, and the games that I've claimed for free through all these different things, without buying another game for the rest of my life, I probably wouldn't get through that entire collection before I die.
It's
I'm with
likely.
you there.
Yeah.
I missed that episode. I think
Yeah.
on purpose.
Yeah. No, we
My
did
pile would no
we
longer
did go over your pile of shame, so don't worry. We did talk about
Take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just more of a realization for me. Is like, hey, I think now is a good time, at least for me personally, to cut back. And I'm sure we're all, not trying to preach to our audience of like what they should and shouldn't do, but it's just more of like personal reminders for ourselves, and people, inshallah, can take from it what they want and what they find beneficial, and leave the rest.
Yeah, inshallah. One thing that I really, on your point of donating, something that I really wanted to get more regular on, especially during Ramadan. If you know of a website called LaunchGood,
Mhm.
LaunchGood is really good for, they focus on like Muslim centric organizations that need,
Yes.
funding and stuff like that. In Ramadan, they do a thing called, give 30 days of giving, where you can automate your donations. So you can set the amount of donation amount you want, and they'll randomly pick one of their campaigns
Mm.
for Ramadan, and you can do it per day, daily, so you don't have to worry about it. You can do it manually as well,
Mhm.
or you can automate it as well. So
Oh,
that's
mashallah.
really helped me
Okay.
to donate at least something, like if it's like $5,
Not
like whatever.
forget a day.
Yeah, so you don't
Right.
forget it. So every
Mhm.
single day in Ramadan, you're donating something.
Mashallah. I think that's man. Wish I knew about that more in Ramadan, but
They also
alhamdulillah.
have like
Yeah.
other campaigns within where like they'll double donations and things like that. They'll do like boosts and stuff. So
Right.
there's all kinds of things going on.
Yeah, like they
Launch
try to
is definitely a
match
good
and
place to
stuff.
check out. Yeah. They
Yeah.
also have last 10 nights, I think that's the
Yeah, they have
name
the
of the
last
As
10
part of
nights
Launch
thing.
Good?
last 10 nights. Not launch good, it's its own thing, last 10 nights. So
Okay.
they'll also automate your donations.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. It's good to know. Definitely need to save a lot of the content from this episode in preparation for next Ramadan.
Inshallah.
Inshallah,
Yeah, that's
inshallah.
what we're
Inshallah.
doing, right? We're reflecting.
Exactly.
And one of my aspirational goals is one day when I have time. So what we used to do in Muslim Gamers, at least on the Discord, is, and during Ramadan we used to have a halakha series. Once a week we'd have a halakha series,
Mm.
and it was pretty poppin'. and we haven't been able to do it for a long time because everyone's
Okay.
been busy. But one of my goals is one day bring that back.
Yeah,
Discord,
inshallah.
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 I know we were talking about doing live episodes of this podcast too, because the software that we use to record, it can also do live. I don't know if it integrates with Twitch and all the other things, but maybe that could be an idea for next Ramadan. I know we intentionally made the decision to pause for Ramadan so that we can just focus on our ibadah, but I think that would be a good idea to start, inshallah. Yeah, because I
Yeah,
think
it's
I
not
saw
bad.
like some of the recordings from the previous halaqat. Were those done during Ramadan?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do it, inshallah. Inshallah. With that being said, as we talk about, reflecting on, how much time are we actually spending into our hobbies, let's talk about how much time have we actually been spending into our hobby of gaming and talk about maybe some of the games that we've been playing. So, Abdul, Nael, who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay. Go
I've
ahead,
played
Nael.
no games.
Oh, man.
So I
Wow.
just
You've been busy, huh?
post Ramadan, it just kind of that momentum of no media consumption kind of carried. I haven't really even gotten back to watching too much TV,
Mm,
watching too many games, and then some of my hobbies are turning into not hobbies. So I've
okay.
been busy with that, trying to get those things started up. So that's where a lot of my time has been going.
Okay.
It's probably going to be like that for a few weeks until things are smooth and I have some time to myself
Yeah,
to
definitely.
enjoy. Yeah, inshallah.
Definitely. I'm sure, Abdul and I know what you're talking about because we know you personally, but do you want to share anything more for the audience
I
at this time?
can, I
Okay.
can. I've been working.
Shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Yeah, why not? It's our podcast. Um, I've been working on a kind of a social startup slash mocktail startup, trying to gather people to come hang out, have some mocktails. That's pretty simple sell to that. But the mocktails themselves, I'm taking a bit of a more culinary approach and
Hmm.
um, really trying to create some unique flavor profiles that are not as common when you go out looking for drinks and trying to create a space for people like us to hang out. That doesn't always involve caffeine because me
Right.
personally,
Hmm.
I struggle with the caffeine at night. It puts me
Oh,
to
yeah.
sleep.
Hmm.
Week.
Yeah, especially in Ramadan, a lot of the hangouts were at a Qamariya coffee or like the
Exactly.
Yemeni
I mean,
coffee
I
houses.
enjoy those. I
Yeah,
100% enjoy those.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
too much of
caffeine
that, it's
knocks
like,
me
oh, good luck
out. The
going to sleep.
caffeine will knock
Yeah.
me out, actually.
It'll knock you
So
out.
I have the opposite problem. Exactly. Yeah.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
then I know many other people have the regular problem of they won't
Right.
be able to sleep. So
Okay.
I think this is just a nice alternative to that. So
Okay.
we're calling it riverbank.social.
Nice.
That's where you can find us,
Riverbank
inshallah.
because your name was Nael, like the River
Nile
Nile.
River,
There you
exactly.
go. Nice. I
Trying to
Gotta
like
make
love
that.
bank.
Riverbank.
Exactly. There you go.
Well, we'll see if that ever
Yeah.
happens, but
Inshallah.
inshallah.
Inshallah, may Allah provide you
Inshallah,
with all the risk.
inshallah.
Hey,
Ameen,
hey,
ameen, ameen.
audience,
I
listeners,
mean,
let's all make dua for him, inshallah.
Yeah, right
Hopefully
now
he'll bring
right
about
now
more
we're
success.
doing pop-ups around SoCal,
Hmm.
but
Any
we'll
coming
see.
around maybe this Saturday?
This Saturday, yeah, we'll be at King Fahad Masjid in Culver City. We are also vending at an event in Irvine at the same time for Muslim Visionaries. They're hosting their annual event. So I don't know how many tickets I left for that.
Okay.
Uh, and later on, we're trying to plan something for the IE area and LA area again that we'll
Yeah.
host. And
Mostly
then
centered on Southern California
yeah,
for
and
now,
then
at least.
I think we're trying to hit uh Detroit area around Eid time,
Okay.
and then maybe an East Coast tour end of summer, hit Dallas. Yeah, we'll see. There's a
Okay.
lot in the works. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Inshallah. So that's what you've been up to. That's really good to hear.
Yeah.
All right. Abdul, do you want to talk about the games you've been playing or the games you haven't
yeah.
been playing and, putting more time into other things?
No, yeah. After Ramadan ended, I was like, all right, full get back into it. Let's go.
Break out the Switch, break out the Steam
No,
Deck.
so
No, I'm
I
sorry.
had to make a choice. There's two games that came out during
Mm,
Ramadan that I wanted to play, and I waited until after Ramadan to do that. It was between Monster Hunter Wilds and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Mm.
okay.
completely different games. Both of
Yes.
them I really wanted to play, but I can't play both. I have to play one because both of them require a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay.
I gotta say,
before you get into
yeah.
it, I've been very fascinated with this series of Kingdom Come Deliverance. Is it required to play? I know the developers themselves have said that you don't have to, but in your opinion, do you think it's better to play the first one to appreciate the second one and understand the story better? Because I heard that KCD 2 starts literally like hours or minutes after the ending of the first game.
Yeah, it does start right after. They do an okay job with summarizing past events through the story. I would say you don't need to play the game, but you can just do like I would do a quick YouTube, like, hey, summarize KD1 for me,
Okay.
KCD1, and then do that and go from there. It'll help to know the background because there's a lot of things. If you haven't played the first one, it's not like you won't know what's going on. You just won't understand the deeper conflict that's happening in the world
Okay.
um, unless you've played the first one.
Okay. Would you recommend playing the first one? Like, does it hold up gameplay wise? I know it's not that old.
It's so KD1. Uh, it's a long game,
Mm.
and it's not a game unless you're in it for the jank, which you're gonna experience a lot of jank. I wouldn't recommend playing it.
Okay.
I would say just summarize it on
Okay.
YouTube and play the second one. And I say that because, well, you will appreciate a lot of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 after playing the first one, but buy it if you haven't played the first one at all and you play the second one. By its own merits, the game will like impress you to another degree. Like the game is amazing.
Hmm.
This game is the best RPG game that has ever been made to date.
Wow. Over Witcher 3.
Over Witcher 3. This thing
Wow.
destroys Witcher 3.
Wow.
In terms of the complexity of the mechanics. Now people can argue about the story, the Witcher 3 is a better story, whatever. That's fine. It has like magic and other stuff. You can't really, it's a different genre there. But if you're talking pure role play mechanics and the depth of the world that this game creators have created cannot be beat. To give you some examples, like the NPCs, they're actual living people. They have their own routines, they do their own things, and they interact with you in a very real way. If you're dirty and if you smell bad because you haven't showered in a while, they will comment that, hey, you stink. Like, go take a shower. And you will actually lose points if you try to like negotiate or try to barter with somebody and you smell bad. They'll it takes that into account and be like, no, I don't trust you because you're not like you're like really bad. Like, how I can't trust your word because you stink. That's one thing. And like if you stole something and nobody saw, but somebody saw you come out of the door of that place, and they will take that into account, and the guards will say like, hey, you were there and now something's stolen, you're the suspect.
Wow.
Just
We're gonna
because
search you.
You're the stinky guy.
Okay. So it's not like Skyrim where you can just pick up a bucket, put it on their head.
Yeah, so
and
it's not like,
start.
oh, just because nobody saw me there,
Yeah.
like I'm good. It's like, oh, if something was stolen in this particular spot, but somebody saw you there, they didn't see you steal it, they just saw you there. They will report that to the authorities saying, hey, this item was stolen. Yeah, I saw this person there and that person. Then you become a suspect. Like, it's crazy how detailed this like mechanics of this game are.
Wow.
Like, your speech matters, your fighting levels matter, like anything, the way you talk matters. Like, it's amazing. This game is really blowing my mind. I'm having a lot of fun playing it, honestly.
If I didn't already have a bunch of games installed on my PC right now, I'd be clicking the install button right now. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
and
make my way through other games too, but yeah. Go ahead.
a lot of people, so it's not a game for everybody. I would say it's
Okay.
it's a game that you have to take. It's intentionally built to be slow.
Okay.
I literally spent I like my wife was like, how do you find this fun? I spent 2 days just blacksmithing.
Okay.
And like to blacksmith, it's like you have to do the whole thing. You have to like turn the furnace on, like you have to you do the thing. You have to hammer it. Like it takes a while to make a sword,
So is it is it
and
is it a lot like old school RuneScape in that sense, where like you have to like really work every
you
mechanic?
have to grind it out. You definitely have to grind a lot. But then that's intentional because they
Mhm.
want you to slow pace the game, and the game is intentionally made very detailed. Like if I'm brewing a potion, I have to take the ingredients, I have to grind it, I have to put it in a cauldron, I have to boil the cauldron. Then I have to take a timer and put the timer on to boil it for the correct time. If I don't boil it for the correct time, it's not going to turn out correct. Then I have to take it off the boiler, put it like it's a
Very
process to make
detailed.
a
Yeah.
Wow.
potion, and to
Very
make
involved.
like smithing, like, and yeah, to like sharpening a blade. Your blades will get dull over time. You got to sharpen your blade. Your armors, your clothing will get dirty. You have to go You have to go to a laundry place to wash your clothes. You have to, make sure you go either have some repair kits or go to a specialized vendor, like a blacksmith or armor or a cobbler to fix your shoes. You
Hmm.
can't just go to any merchant and be like, "Hey, repair my stuff." You have
Hmm.
to go to a cobbler to repair your shoes. A
Wow.
tailor will repair your shirt, but he's not going to repair your shoes,
Okay.
right? And they might not be in the same place. You might be going from city to city, town to town to like just repair your stuff.
Tell me, is there
Like
at least some
it's
level of fast travel to make it easier, some quality of life for the modern
so
gamer?
is fast travel in the sense that you can automate your guy walking there, and it'll like
Hmm.
it'll fast forward it for
Okay.
you. But
Okay.
if you get stopped on the way or if you get ambushed, then you have to,
You
like,
have
Okay.
to
that
do
encounter you
okay.
have to go through,
Mm.
Okay.
stuff like that. So that's how that game works. It's not a true fast travel. Like it's not an instant like, okay, I just teleported here.
Right.
You
You
have
just
to
have to
like
sit through a loading screen.
your guy's literally walking there.
Okay.
The game's just speeding it up for you, but you're still going there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
I recommend. Game of the year.
And
Honestly, it's already my game of the year.
and you're playing it on PC, mouse and keyboard, or controller, or
PC,
PC?
PC, mouse and keyboard. For me, I tried controller. It didn't really feel right, so I went back to keyboard and mouse.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about playing the first one on the Steam Deck before the second one came out. I never got around to it, but I think a lot of the recommendations are to play it on mouse and keyboard anyway. So, yeah, definitely gonna check it out when I get around to it. But some of the games I've been playing are kind of involved, maybe not as involved as having to go through the entire process of blacksmithing, or like smithing and creating a sword or brewing potions. Um, the last few days, or last few weeks actually, especially since the Nintendo Direct, and I keep going back to that. It made me realize too how many Nintendo games I own, or possess, and just haven't had a chance to like fully play it through. For people that know me about my favorite Nintendo franchise, I love Metroid, but I actually never got around to beating any of the Metroid games. So I played through
Really?
them. Yeah, I played through them. Like I've started Prime, a bunch of times. I've started Fusion a bunch of times, Super Metroid a couple of times, and Zero Mission. I only played a little bit of the original Metroid, but it's um, uh, it's a game from the '80s, so it's gonna have that level of difficulty to it. And I think you don't even get a map in the game. You have to have the actual like paper map that came with the manual of the game or something. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely uh was a harder game to play, and I didn't even bother based on what I knew. So I thought, okay, so if I'm gonna get into the Metroid franchise, let me start out with Metroid Zero Mission, which is a remake of the original one that they made for the Game Boy Advance. And man, that is such a good game. Like, if Metroid is half of the reason, or in my opinion, I think it's more than half of the reason why the franchise of Metroidvanias exist, or not franchise, a genre of Metroidvanias, because the other half is Castlevania. I feel like Metroid does the whole like your characters starting out with basically nothing and slowly getting stronger and getting to get to many other parts of the map or the world as you progress through the game. And a lot of you getting stronger, the new abilities you get are related to the story as well. So yeah, Zero Mission was really great. What's interesting about Zero Mission, if a lot of people don't know, is that it is basically a remake of the original Metroid that came out in the NES, but there's also like a second half to it where you as Samus, minor spoiler alert, actually lose your suit, and you have to like use stealth to get around. And it's stealth in a 2D environment, so it's not like that hard, or it's not, you wouldn't call it true stealth, I guess. And it is a little bit, those sections can get a little challenging, but it was a nice little addition to see, like, okay, how important her suit is to her, but at the same time she still is pretty capable without the suit. And then right after I beat that, I actually did finally manage to beat that on Saturday. Today is Tuesday. I decided to start Metroid Samus Returns, which is also a remake of the sequel to the original Metroid, and this one was on the 3DS. That they remade and released back in 2017. Also, another great game. I think it uses the dual screen pretty well. Highly recommend playing through it. I still haven't beaten it, but I'm making good progress and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And I would love to see remakes or just remasters of both of these games to be released into, for the Switch, so that more people get to experience it, or for the Switch too. The Prime games are also great. I did play through them before. I haven't beaten them, but I know we have Metroid Prime 4 coming out, so for people that are interested in the franchise, I think this would be cool to check out. But you do have to be, there is going to be a little bit of repetitiveness because you kind of have to backtrack and go back and forth once, because you'll come across a part of the level where you can't get through because you need a certain ability. And once you get that ability later on, you can come back to that part and get, maybe there might be an upgrade or, some sort of an unlock behind it. So yeah, definitely. I love Metroid.
That's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
Yeah. Have you guys had any experience with the Metroid franchise at all? Or
Yeah, I
just
played
curious?
them.
I think
Probably more than me. You probably beat more of them.
I haven't played in a while. I think the last time I played was on the GameCube.
That's probably Prime.
Prime.
The 3D one, right? The first person one?
The first person one. Which
Prime
was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Prime was
I
so
really
ahead of its
enjoyed it.
time. A game that came out, I think, is like 2001 or 2. And
I definitely should get the remasters and play
yeah,
the original series. Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I haven't played any of the remasters that have come out. List of things to eventually play.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Yeah. The ever-growing backlog, right?
I know. It's there. Well, I actually haven't purchased that one, so it's not on my backlog yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's why I said ever-growing.
It's
so
on
it
the
hasn't grown to that point.
TVP, to be played.
TVP.
TVP,
To be purchased.
To be purchased.
Yeah. Do we have any
about
news? Yeah. Do we have any news items we want to talk about? I know we have some time. We haven't gotten around.
Oblivion 4 coming.
Yeah, isn't Oblivion Remaster just shadow dropped today?
Yeah, it just shadow dropped earlier today.
Blue.
Yeah, April 22nd on the day of our recording. Shadow dropped earlier this morning.
Someone online jokingly said, I think they meant to drop 6, but they switched the lettering.
And it's funny. It's an Unreal Engine 5, which is a really nice welcome. I haven't played it yet. I did purchase it. So you're welcome.
I didn't check my Steam library.
That'll be a good one to run on the deck, actually.
Yeah,
maybe. I tried running the original one on the deck.
I don't know how it'd run on the deck.
Yeah, the deck tends to have issues with Unreal Engine 5 games, in my experience. Unreal Engine 5 games tend to not be the most optimized to run efficiently, especially on older hardware or weaker hardware. So I don't know. Yeah, but there's this one YouTuber named Santiago who does like these breakdowns, and he says like, "Oh, this game absolutely earns his verified badge for the Steam Deck." So maybe.
Yeah, I was going off of the the badge, but yeah.
Is the badge
I'm hoping by the time I finished, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the mods will be up for Oblivion.
Yeah, especially since you got the Steam version, it'll be easier to get the mods on there.
Yeah, that's the reason why I got it. I know the Game Pass version is already there.
Right.
But I want the Steam version.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Kind of. I don't think it really caught us off surprise because I know we were talking about it last week about it possibly some sort of news about it dropping. I just didn't think they were actually gonna drop the game today. But that's a big welcome news to take in for that. Anything else for the news, or should we wrap up, guys? What do you think?
Did we talk about Xbox last time?
What about?
Yeah, I was
Xbox?
gonna say the boycott.
Did we
Oh, the
talk about
boycott.
that last
Okay.
time? I don't think
No,
we,
I
we
think
were.
you
No,
know
we
what?
I
did
I
think
not.
think we meant
because we
to.
focused on Nintendo, so we didn't get
Mhm.
to talk
Yeah.
about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the other bigger piece of news is that Microsoft, and more focusedly, Microsoft Gaming slash Xbox is now officially part of the BDS targeted list of boycotting.
Hmm.
So they're encouraging people not to, per, rather than targeting Microsoft as a whole, they're trying to focus the boycott on targeting one aspect of Microsoft to send, the message that they don't want their money to be spent to our money that's going to Microsoft to be spent towards you know
Genocide.
genocide, essentially,
Basically,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So trying to avoid Xbox stuff in the future. At least for me, I'll try to be doing that. I know I still have, since I was prepaid the year, I still have a few months
Yeah,
to
that's on
Yeah,
go
me
you're
as
fine.
on my
Mhm.
Game Pass, but
I have
I'm
some
not really
prepaid
going to
time,
be.
but not renewing that.
Yeah,
For
I'm not
sure.
really planning
Mhm.
to renew that.
Yeah. I know that there are some, how should I say, conflicting opinions rather, um, about whether the efficacy, what the efficacy of this boycott is going to be. Like, oh, is this really going to make a
On a
difference with
larger
on a
corporation.
larger
Yeah.
corporation, especially a corporation that's so ubiquitous as Microsoft,
Hmm.
where we are using their products every day, and even though we may not be paying continuously to continue using, Windows, or uh, uh, if you're using a Microsoft Surface laptop for work or whatever, uh,
Yeah,
you've already purchased it and you're
it's
still using,
hard.
but it's
It's
still
hard to
like data
avoid
that you're, yeah,
company like Microsoft for sure.
it is, it absolutely
Which
is.
is
So
why
they're
I think targeting the gaming side of it makes sense. As far as the logic of it goes.
right. Yeah, at the
Um,
very least, it's like something conscious that you can do
And
because
I think,
yeah,
yeah, I think it's more about like hurting, doing some sort of damage, right? But also, at the end of the day, it's like, okay, we know this company has done some evil things. We can't avoid everything, but if something you can, why not? You should do it so that
hmm
yeah,
it's an intentional thing that you're doing
right.
that will count, in your favor at on the day of judgment, saying, "Hey, I tried my best. I did what I could.
Hmm.
I avoided what I could."
yeah.
Um,
Especially coming
mhm.
off of this being our Ramadan kind of episode, post Ramadan episode. We just Ramadan, we spent the whole month controlling our nafs and stuff, right? So
Hmm.
it
Yeah,
kind of hand in hand, right? Controlling our consumption kind of falls into the realm of boycotting, right? And this is easy. They're not saying stop gaming.
Right. Just
Just
stop paying
look at
Microsoft
look at
money for your
alternative
gaming.
markets,
Yeah.
potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think that's definitely a way to at least contribute to, sending the message out there that
Yeah.
we're not okay with this genocide. We're not okay with any of the effort that you're putting in to help enable this genocide.
Enabling the
Um,
genocide. Yeah.
yeah. Like I said, I know that there are some conflicting opinions on that, especially amongst the Muslim community. But this is just more of our opinions individually, as the individuals on this podcast. It doesn't reflect on Muslim gamers, the Discord as a whole. Felt like I should drop that disclaimer. With that being said, I think we had a really good episode here, wrapping up our post Ramadan reflections and some other stuff that we talked about here too, with the news and what the games we're playing. Um, I really like this episode that we did right now. We really do appreciate you listeners and viewers, you guys taking the time to listen with us and to reflect along with us. It was really great, especially in the beginning of the episode, to get a little bit more personal. And inshallah, hopefully, like I shared at the end of that segment, we hope you find something beneficial or relatable in what we shared. Also, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your own reflections after Ramadan, or anything you want to share about how it impacted your gaming, your routines, or just your life overall. Your thoughts, they really help keep the conversation going. They help us build this community together. And if you're enjoying this podcast, make sure to follow and subscribe to us on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast players. And as we always mention, if you're listening to us somewhere and you'd like to listen to us elsewhere that where podcasts are available and you can't find us, make sure to let us know. And yeah, stay connected with us there so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And also stay connected with us on social media. This time I remembered to put our social media tags in my notes, so I have them right in front of me. On Instagram it's at Muslim Gamers Podcast. On Bluesky it is at mgpodcast.bsky.social. And on TikTok it's just Muslim Gamers at Muslim Gamers GG. If you missed me reading that pretty fast, don't worry. I'm gonna include all that in the description out there. Once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we will see you in the next episode, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum
Wa alaikum
salam.
salam.